Imagine a village alive and bustling one day, then swallowed by an eerie silence the next. This isn't the plot of a horror movie. It's the chilling true story of Anjikuni Lake, a mystery that has haunted Canada for nearly a century. What could make an entire community of men, women, and children vanish without a trace, leaving everything behind? In November 1930, a seasoned Canadian fur trapper named Joe LaBelle was making his way through the rugged, snow-covered landscape near Anjikuni Lake. He was familiar with the area and knew of a thriving Inuit village that was always a welcome stop for a warm meal and rest. But as he approached, an unsettling quiet hung in the frigid air. The usual sounds of village life, dogs barking, children playing, the hum of daily chores, were gone. All that remained was a profound, deafening silence. As LaBelle walked into the village, his unease grew into outright fear. The homes were empty, yet it was as if the residents had just stepped out for a moment. He found pots of caribou stew, now frozen solid, still hanging over long extinguished fire pits. In one tent, he discovered a child's unfinished sealskin parka, with a needle still threaded through the garment, abandoned mid-stitch. Rifles, essential for survival in the unforgiving North, were left leaning against doorways. There were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, not a single footprint leading away from the village. It was as if every soul had been plucked from the earth in an instant. Shaken, LaBelle mushed on to the nearest telegraph office to report his disturbing discovery. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, were soon dispatched to investigate. What they found only deepened the enigma. The Mounties confirmed LaBelle's account. The village was completely deserted, but all possessions, food, and weapons were left untouched. This immediately ruled out the most logical explanations. If the villagers had migrated, why would they leave their essential supplies and rifles behind? If they had been attacked by another group or by wildlife, where was the evidence of a fight? The scene was unnervingly peaceful. The investigation took an even stranger turn when the Mounties made another grim discovery. The village's sacred burial ground, a place of deep respect in Inuit culture, had been desecrated. Every single grave had been opened, the burial stones carefully stacked in neat piles beside them. And just like the villagers themselves, the bodies were gone. The act was not only baffling, but also a profound violation of Inuit tradition, making it highly unlikely that the villagers themselves were responsible. As word of the vanishing village spread, other trappers and locals came forward with their own strange tales. Several reported seeing a massive, pulsating, cylindrical object flying through the sky around the time the village was thought to have disappeared. These weren't just fleeting glimpses. Witnesses described a brilliant, eerie light that maneuvered in ways no known aircraft could. Could this unexplained aerial phenomenon be connected to the fate of the Anjikuni people? The official RCMP investigation continued for weeks, but ultimately hit a dead end. They scoured the vast, empty wilderness for miles in every direction, but found nothing. No tracks, no bodies, no clues. The case was officially closed, leaving a void of unanswered questions. In the decades since, the story of Anjikuni has become a cornerstone of unexplained mysteries, spawning a host of theories, each more fantastic than the last. The most popular and enduring theory is that of alien abduction. Proponents point to the strange lights in the sky and the sheer impossibility of an entire village disappearing without a trace as evidence of extraterrestrial intervention. Did a UFO descend upon the village and simply spirit everyone away? The idea seems like science fiction, but in the absence of any rational explanation, it has captured the public imagination. Other theories delve into the realm of the supernatural. Some believe a malevolent spirit or a creature from Inuit folklore might be responsible. Legends of the Wendigo, a cannibalistic spirit said to roam the northern forests, have been whispered in connection with the disappearance. Could the villagers have fallen victim to some ancient, dark force that Western investigators couldn't possibly comprehend? Of course, there are also skeptics who have tried to debunk the entire story. Some argue that Joe LaBelle embellished his tale, or that the entire event is an urban legend that grew over time, a piece of campfire folklore. They suggest the village may have been a temporary, seasonal camp that was abandoned in an orderly fashion, and that details like the empty graves and cooking food were added later to make the story more sensational. One RCMP report from the time suggests the village had likely been abandoned for several weeks, or even months, before LaBelle arrived, casting doubt on the vanished overnight narrative. They propose that the villagers simply moved on due to dwindling food sources or other natural reasons, and the story was exaggerated by a journalist named Frank Edwards in his 1959 book, Stranger Than Science. However, this rationalization doesn't fully explain all the oddities. Why would the villagers leave their valuable rifles and warm clothing? Why would the graves be empty? If it was just a simple migration, surely some trace of their journey would have been found. The Inuit are masters of survival. Abandoning essential gear makes no sense. The truth is, we may never know what really happened at Anjikuni Lake in the winter of 1930. Was it a mass migration that was twisted into a legend? Or was it something far stranger? The lack of concrete evidence leaves the door wide open for speculation. The story exists in a gray area between fact and fiction, history and myth. It challenges our understanding of the world and reminds us that some mysteries may be destined to remain unsolved. The haunting silence that greeted Joe LaBelle nearly a century ago still echoes today. The empty tents, the frozen meals, the missing people, they form a chilling tableau that has become one of history's most baffling unsolved cases. The village of Anjikuni stands as a stark monument to a community that vanished, leaving behind only their belongings, and a question that continues to intrigue and terrify. Where did they go? What do you think happened to the people of Anjikuni? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoy diving into mysteries like this one, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video.